Imagine you just signed a lease with a new tenant, or maybe you hired a contractor, only to find out way after the fact that they have a trail of civil judgments and evictions literally a mile long. Yikes, right? Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are turning you into an absolute background check pro by decoding exactly how you can navigate the court records of Buncombe County, North Carolina, step by step. Let's get right into it. Here is our toolkit for today. We'll be covering why search court records, understanding Buncombe's court system, the eCourts digital search portal, visiting the physical courthouse, custodial boundaries and alternatives, and finally, some pro tips and final takeaways. Section 1. Why search court records? The real-world application. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the how, we really need to establish the why. Because whether you are entering a new business agreement, hiring someone, or renting out a property, there is one ultimate question you always have to ask yourself. Who are you really dealing with? Relying on a simple handshake just doesn't cut it anymore, especially when public records are so readily available to give you the actual verified facts. And here is where this gets super practical. You can use these public court records for comprehensive tenant or employee screening, finding active civil liens that might totally derail a property purchase, checking the status of civil judgments, or tracking crucial judicial proceedings, like a family law matter or a divorce decree. Think about it. If a contractor owes money all over town, a quick civil judgment search is going to tell you. If a prospective tenant has a history of evictions, well, the court records hold that exact story. Section 2. Understanding Buncombe's court system, a digital migration. Now, to navigate these records accurately, you absolutely have to understand the massive technological shift that hit Buncombe County in July of 2024. Buncombe was actually part of Track 5 of a massive statewide modernization effort. On July 17th, the old legacy systems were put into a restricted inquiry-only mode. Then, on July 22nd, Buncombe officially went live with a brand new eCourt system, with the whole state expected to be fully on board by October 2025. Now, why does this matter to you? Because this transition created some brief indexing lags. Paper filings received during that mid-July week were manually stamped and indexed later. So if you're looking at mid-2024 records, they might have some slight chronological quirks that you should definitely watch out for. So the really big takeaway here is that those fragmented old-school mainframes like CIPRS, ACIS, and VCAP have officially been replaced by a unified cloud-hosted platform called Enterprise Justice. Before July 2024, you literally had to drive down to the courthouse to check those old terminal systems. Today, it is an integrated statewide portal that you can access remotely right from your living room couch. It is an absolute game changer. Section 3. The eCourts digital search portal, your primary tool. So let's look at the absolute easiest way to find what you need without ever leaving your house. The portal is broken down into 3 distinct modules. First up is Smart Search. This is where you inspect case file timelines and details for specific individuals, businesses, or case numbers. Next, there's Search Hearings, which lets you track upcoming court calendars and find out exactly which courtroom you need to be in. And finally, the NC Judgment Search. You use this one specifically to locate active liens and civil money judgments entered across the entire state court system. When you run a Smart Search, what you actually generate is called a case summary. Historically, lawyers called this a register of actions. Think of it as your master chronological timeline. It compiles all the case events, judicial assignments, causes of action, and scheduled hearings. It is essentially the ultimate, step-by-step master blueprint of any court case. Section 4. Visiting the physical courthouse, the on-site guide. Now, even with all this great tech, because some records are sealed, or maybe you just need a certified physical copy, you will eventually have to brave the physical courthouse. So if you are planning a visit, here is what you need to know. The Buncombe County Courthouse is located at 60 Court Plaza in Asheville, and it's open standard business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Prepare for some standard bureaucracy. You'll enter through a single ground-level security checkpoint, which means your bags will be scanned and you'll go through metal detectors. From there, elevators will take you to all 9 floors and 12 specialized clerk divisions. So, a quick pro tip, make sure you know exactly which department you need before you step off that elevator. $25. I want you to keep this exact number in mind if you are doing official background research. Here's why. If you need an official verified criminal history check for Buncombe County, which is something employers ask for all the time, you must request a certified name inquiry check. This costs a statutory fee of exactly $25. You will also need the subject's full legal name and date of birth, and you have to pay that fee at the main cashier window in the lobby before the criminal division will actually hand you the certified document. Speaking of paying, please listen closely to this one. There are strict payment protocols at the clerk's office. Do not, under any circumstances, bring a personal check to the courthouse. They are not accepted, ever. If you're paying in person, you must use cash, certified checks, cashier's checks, money orders, or a debit or credit card. If you're mailing it in, certified check, cashier's check, or money order only. Oh, and always make it payable to the clerk of superior court. Seriously, bringing a personal check will completely halt your search right in its tracks. Section 5. Custodial boundaries and alternatives. Knowing where to look. One of the biggest hurdles researchers face is looking for the absolute right document in the completely wrong building. In Buncombe County, record custody is actually split. The Clerk of Superior Court over at 60 Court Plaza retains custody of judicial proceedings, things like divorces, foreclosures, civil judgments, and evictions. On the other hand, the Register of Deeds at 205 College Street retains custody of real property transactions, deeds, vital records, and marriage licenses. So here is the stark contrast. While the Register of Deeds issues your marriage license, it's the Clerk of Court that handles the divorce decree. While the Register of Deeds records a property deed, the clerk handles the eviction. To get a complete picture, you often have to search both systems. Now, when you're interacting with court staff, whether in person or over the phone, remember this strict statutory rule. The Clerk of Superior Court and staff are specifically prohibited by law from giving you legal advice. They're there to maintain the records and process filings, folks, not to be your lawyer. They can hand you a blank form, sure, but they absolutely cannot legally tell you how to fill it out or which form is best for you. Now, you might be tempted to just take a shortcut, maybe Google someone's name and use a free third-party public record search site. Look, they exist, but proceed with extreme caution. Free sites may be limited, completely incomplete, and they are absolutely not equivalent to a thorough on-site search. They often miss recent updates, they might fail to capture sealed expungements properly, and they definitely lack the verified certification you need for official business. Section 6. Pro tips and final takeaways. Let's wrap this up with some essential record search facts that can drastically change how you handle your legal research. First, did you know civil money judgments are valid for a full 10 years? Yep. And they act as an automatic lien on any real property the debtor acquires in Buncombe County during that entire decade. Second, if you're searching traffic citations, know that failing to appear in court yields an automatic order for arrest and a hefty $200 DMV fee. Also, those name inquiry checks from the clerk, keep in mind they only cover Buncombe County charges, nothing federal or from neighboring counties. Finally, if you need to file basic documents, there's a tool called Guide and File available online for free. It literally walks you through preparing your documents step by step. Okay, quick disclaimer time. Legal systems and record availability are constantly evolving. Always verify your findings with current official court sources. Knowing your limits is a crucial research skill. Use this explainer to empower your independent searches, but when things get complex or you hit a wall, know when it's time to call a qualified legal professional to assist you. So you now have the roadmap. You know how to bridge the gap to the new eCourts portal, you know exactly how to navigate the physical courthouse, and you know which agency holds which document. The toolkit is right there at your fingertips. So the only question left is, what will you discover in the public records of Buncombe County?